Sri Aurobindo from the book The Mother, Part 2, Letters on the Mother, Chapter 5, Opening and Surrender to the Mother, page 125, topic, Receiving the Mother's Grace. Question: is the Mother's grace only general? Sri Aurobindo says, both general and special. Date 8/2/1934. Question: how to receive what she grants in general? Answer: Sri Aurobindo says, you have only to keep yourself open, and whatever you need, you can receive it at the moment will come. Date 10/2/1934. Question: is it the Purusha who consents to the action of the Mother's grace in the whole being? Sri Aurobindo says yes. If the Purusha does not consent is the question. If the Purusha does not consent, does it mean that the other beings also cannot come to the front to enable the sadhak to receive the Mother's grace? Sri Aurobindo says no. The Purusha often holds back and lets the other beings consent or reject in his place. Question: when the Mother's grace comes down to the sadhak, is it by the consent of the Purusha? Sri Aurobindo says, what do you mean by the consent? The Mother's grace comes down by the Mother's will. The Purusha can accept or reject the grace. Date April 1933. Condition for progress is the next topic. Question: if a sadhak, even after a long time, cannot fully open himself to the Mother owing to the obstacles in his nature, does it mean that he will not be accepted by the Mother? Sri Aurobindo says, there is no meaning in such a question. Those who follow the yoga here are already accepted by the Mother, for accepted means admitted into the yoga, accepted as disciples. But the progress in the yoga and the siddhi in the yoga depend on the degree to which they are being or there is a opening. Date 24/6/1933. Next topic: sincerity, openness and transformation. Question: X says that the Mother told him that if the sincerity is perfect, there would be transformation in a day. I do not understand how that could be possible. A long process of change and conversion compressed in a single day. Sri Aurobindo answers for this. By sincerity, Mother meant being open to no influence but the divine's only. Now, if the whole being is sincere in that sense, even to the very cell of the body, what could prevent the most rapid transformation? People cannot be like that, however much the enlightenment part of them may want to, because of the nature of the ignorance out of which the ordinary Prakriti has been built. Hence, the necessity of a long and laborious working. Date 26/7/1934. Progressive opening. Sri Aurobindo says, openness is not always complete from the first. A part of the being opens, other parts of the consciousness still remains closed or half open only. One has to aspire till all is open. Even with the best and the most powerful sadhaks, the full opening takes time. Nor is there anyone who has been able to abandon everything at once without any struggle. There is no reason to feel, therefore, that if you call, you will not be heard. If you call, You will not be heard is not what mother means. The mother knows the difficulties of the human nature and will help you through. Persevere always. Call always the mother, and then after each difficulty, there will be a progress. Date 24/19/35. Next topic, the inner and the higher opening. It is by the constant remembrance that the being is prepared for the full opening. By the opening of the heart, the mother's presence begins to be felt, and by the opening to her power above, the force of the higher consciousness comes down into the body and works there to change the whole nature. Date 7/8/1934. Sri Aurobindo says, there is no method in this yoga except to concentrate, preferably in the heart, and call the presence and the power of the mother to take up the being, and by the workings of her force transform the consciousness. One can concentrate also in the head or between the eyebrows, but for many this is a too difficult opening. When the mind falls quiet and the concentration becomes strong and the aspiration intense, then there is a beginning of experience. The more the faith, the more rapid the result is likely to be. For the rest, one must not depend on one's own efforts only, but succeed in establishing a contact with the divine and a receptivity to the mother's power and presence. The direct opening of the psychic center is easy only when the egocentricity is greatly diminished, and also if there is a strong bhakti for the mother. A spiritual humility and a sense of submission and dependence is necessary. Date 16/7/1936. Yes, it is by quieting the mind that you will become able to call the mother and open to her. The soothing effect was a touch from the psychic, one of the touches that prepares the opening of the psychic with its gift of inner peace, love, and joy. 17/9/1934. The mother's peace is above you. By aspiration and quiet self-opening, it descends. When it takes hold of the vital and the body, then equanimity becomes easy and in the end automatic. Date 28/8/1933. Openness to the mother's force and avoidance of other forces. Keep yourself open to the mother's force, but do not trust all the forces. As you go on, if you keep straight, you will come to a time when the psychic becomes more predominantly active and the light from above prevails more purely and strongly, so that the chance of mental constructions and vital formations mixing with the true experience diminishes. As I have told you, these are not and cannot be the supramental forces. It is a work of the preparation which is only making things ready for a future yoga siddhi. Date 18/9/1932. Let the power of the mother work in you, but be careful to avoid any mixture or substitution in its place of either a magnified ego working or a force of ignorance presenting itself as truth. Aspire especially for the elimination of all obscurity and unconsciousness in the nature.